Hey, what is going on, you guys? It is Mr. No Sleep here from Old School RuneScape, and welcome to a brand new loot video for you all today. So today I bring you guys another key related video. This time it's not 25,000 crystal keys, this is a little bit less than that, and a much different key as well. Ladies and gentlemen, today I bring you loot from 3,000 muddy keys. Now this video was recorded just a few weeks ago while I was kind of working on the Green Dragon video, and I did do this video on the alternate account, the one with the construction cape as well as the one with most diaries in the game completed. So it's very similar to my main. And I will say in the very beginning, since I get this a lot in the comment section, how long did this take to do? Only 15 hours. On average, I was doing about 200 keys per hour, and I did this in a span of about 2 days. First day I played about 10 hours, the second day I did about 5, and this was all done off stream. I took about a 7-day break off of Twitch to get this video done, and alongside this I was also on my Iron Man account wrapping up a big loot from 3,000 to Czar monster video, as well as many other things on the side. So yeah, you guys should see a lot of vids this month and this year in general. I do appreciate all of you guys' support. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into these muddy keys, explain what they're all about, what you can expect from them, and see if our 30 mil investment will pay off. Since most of these keys were purchased for about 10k each, I did round that number up to about 30 mil. Some of them I did get for a little bit cheaper. As the voiceover goes today, it's the 18th of January, and they are buying currently for about 5k, but I will show you a clip later on in this video where I was able to sell some extra keys that I had purchased for just over 25k. And the reason that the price really does go up and down so much on these keys, you know, the wiki says they're about 4 to 5k. I bought them for about 10k, and of course selling some for 25k. You may be curious as to how that's possible, and the reality of it is there's just not too many muddy keys coming into the game on a consistent basis. The reason for this is because there's only 2 monsters to my knowledge that do drop these, and those 2 monsters being the Crazy Archaeologist, which I did make a video on just a few weeks ago, and in 1000 Crazy Archaeologist kills I only managed to get 33 just from all of that, and of course the Chaos Dwarf. Now I'm not too sure of anyone in the game that kills Chaos Dwarfs, and I'm pretty confident that not a whole lot of people kill the Crazy Archaeologist either, so that would explain as to why there's not a whole lot of muddy keys in game. And also it took so many weeks just to collect 3,000. Even when I was live streaming asking people to, you know, sell me the keys that they had, really no one had any at all, and there is really no buy limit on these keys. There's just a lack of them in the game, so asking people to help buy them for me wouldn't really work out either. Yeah, these keys are definitely not common, unlike any other key in the game, and maybe if there's an update in the future where different monsters around the game, you know, do drop them, or they're added to some unique drop table, then maybe the price will be a little bit more stable. But it is really hard to say, just depending on the day and the week, how much these keys really go for. A little bit of history regarding the muddy key. It was released into the game August 13th, 2001, and this muddy key is a key that can be used to open the muddy chest, which is in the center of the lava maze in the wilderness. And usually, you know, since the drops that you get from this muddy key fill up your inventory so much, you ideally only want to bring about 6 per inventory, since you can have just a full inventory based off of that amount of keys. However, since I was bringing a looting bag, I was able to bring 12 every single inventory. And although the chest is in the middle of the lava maze, which is a very, very long run if you don't have the shortcut, this account did have 82 agility as well as all of the wilderness hard diaries complete, so therefore I was able to just run directly there with the shortcut and save a ton of time, and that was why I was able to do 200 an hour. Alongside having a construction cape and an obelisk in the player-owned house, I was using the obelisk to teleport directly to 44 wilderness, and then I would just run all the way east, hop the shortcut, open the chests, run back north, and then I would actually use the KBD layer to teleport directly out, and that would save me a lot of time. I do think that's the fastest way that you can open these keys on an hour-to-hour basis. I did also use some pretty good video references, one of them being from Evescape about 8 months ago, and one of them being from Flipping Old School about 2 years ago. And both of those videos and both of those great YouTubers will be in the links in the description below. Highly recommend you check them out. Very similar loot videos in the past and also the present. And there's also a RuneScape 3 loot from 2000 muddy key video, and this guy actually managed to make about 7 mil per hour doing muddy keys in that game, and that was just about 2 months ago. That video will also be in the description below. Now here's that clip that I was talking about where I did sell 300 muddy keys for 24k each, so that is just a little bit of proof that there's a huge demand for these keys at some given point by some player. Not too sure why anyone would want to be doing these muddy chests, and I think you'll understand why when we get to the price check, of course. But yeah, that's just kind of some proof that the price does fluctuate. I thought that was important to show just so you guys know I wasn't making that up or anything. And as you've probably seen by now, you know the loot that you can expect from opening these muddy chests with all these muddy keys does stay pretty much the same. There's no surprises and there's definitely no rare from this chest, unfortunately. The loot as shown here is just uncut rubies, mithril bars, as well as mithril daggers. Can't forget about the anchovy pizzas, and of course the law, death, and chaos runes. Now, one thing in common that all these items have is that they are all free to play, and the wiki does say that this is not a members only item, the muddy keys, so that is something to keep in mind. Free to players can get this as well. Although they can't kill the crazy archaeologist, I'm pretty sure they can kill chaos dwarves. So for any free to players out there, you know, maybe this is the next best up and coming moneymaker. I highly doubt it, but you never know. If these keys actually go for 25k a piece one day, then it's definitely worth looking into. I'm actually kind of surprised that no bots do this, but I guess that's just because, you know, the chaos dwarves and the crazy archaeologists are both in the wilderness as well, so maybe that's why. Probably just a little too dangerous, although I will say during this whole video I didn't run into a single PKer while doing these muddy chests. Obviously they are located in different regions than the archaeologist or the chaos dwarves, but yeah, just in general, you know, I was using the 2200 worlds for half of the video and then world 444 for the other half, since this account does have a pretty high total. I did see a lot of people doing hard clues and also master clues around the area, and a ton of people going to KBD with a lot of risk. I was actually kind of surprised how many people risk so much in 2200 worlds. Pretty understandable why you see so many PKing videos in those worlds, to be honest, with all the PVMers that have such valuable gear. So two things that I haven't mentioned yet, just kind of small details, is that I did bring a looting bag, of course, as well as 1 sip of stamina every single inventory. The looting bag will just double your speed per hour while opening these chests, as I mentioned before. The stamina sip is useful because you will never be walking if you just have 1 sip of stamina per trip, and 43 prayer is highly recommended because you will be encountering 2 lesser demons near the muddy chest in the wilderness, so I was praying melee pretty much the whole entire time that I was opening them, with of course auto retaliate off so you don't get disturbed too much by them. And if you do all that, then you'll pretty much have no problem while opening these. Of course, none of that is required. You know, you can go the old-fashioned route, just running through the whole maze and taking the risk, but I will say it's just definitely not worth it if you have a lot of keys to open in bulk. These muddy keys are obviously not stackable, just in the bank, of course. You can note them, and the high alch value is about 48 coins, so no need to ever high alch them. As shown on screen here, you know, the looting bag is pretty useful because all those drops just go onto the ground, and if you bring that looting bag and have it open, you can just spam click the ground and everything just goes inside there, and it works out pretty well. And according to the wiki, the Grand Exchange buy limit that I'm just now seeing is about 11,000, and it does say that the daily amount traded is about 313. That may sound like a lot, but when you think about all the players in RuneScape and all the worlds and just free to play and as well as members, 313 is not a lot at all. So getting back to the beginning, you know, it is understandable as to why the price fluctuates so much. And for any merchanters out there, maybe this is something that you can look into. You know, there's no doubt in my mind that you can make some pretty good money if you time the purchases and of course the selling of all these keys correctly, especially if you stack them up over time for a reasonable price, you know, buying them at late night time or something. However, flipping and merchanting these keys I'm sure is a big undercut and overcut game in the Grand Exchange. But if you're not making any money from opening the chests with them, then I guess you can just maybe make money by flipping them. So that is an idea for anyone considering to looking into these. Certainly a unique item and definitely a unique key. A lot of keys in RuneScape, and I was happy to make a video on this one. Probably never going to make another video on them again. I know I didn't have to do 3,000, you know, I figured I could just get away with doing 1,000, but I wanted to go a little bit above and beyond for this one just to kind of get a good idea of the fluctuating price as well as all the items that you can expect in a decent amount of keys. Yeah, we are wrapping up here. You know, loot from 3,000 has been completed. Took, like I said before, about 2 days, 15 hours total. Nothing too crazy. Wasn't really much of a grind. I was just watching movies most of the time and just again on my Iron Man. So let's go ahead and look into these drops, you know, do the price check, see how much money that we probably lost. I think by now we all can agree that there's definitely no profit from this one, seeing as we did invest on a low end 25 to 27 mil, on a high end just roughly 30 mil. Sometimes I would buy keys for, like I said, 10k, sometimes it was 15, other times it was 6. I mean, it really just depended on the day and the amount that were being traded at the time. So let's go ahead and get into this price check, bringing out all the items, the runes, the daggers, the bars, the pizzas. I mean, you know, it's pretty obvious this won't be that much, but I have some faith, you know. know, we'll see what we're looking at here. So the very first and the very only price check does come out to be roughly 12.4 mil, which is actually better than I expected. And you got to take into account, you know, mithril bars aren't worth anything anymore because of Volcano, among many other updates. Chaos runes are virtually worth not as much as they used to be. And of course, the law runes went down a lot as well. So if these items were to raise over time and, you know, muddy keys somehow stabilized at a very low price, maybe we could make profit, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, especially with how the economy is these days. I just think these drops are not going to be raising in price anytime soon. Even the mithril daggers that were 45 GP didn't even really sell for about 5 GP at the very end, but nevertheless, we did walk away with just about 12.2 mil. We spent anywhere from 26 to 30 mil. I know the numbers on screen kind of said things differently, but I did double check just to make sure. So yeah, overall, we did lose approximately 15 to 17 mil roughly making this video, and about 15 hours of my life. But that's alright, you know, not all these loot videos can be successful, and we only have to do them all one time. So at least now we all know a little bit more about muddy keys and if they're worth doing, purchasing, or anything in between. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope you somehow found it entertaining or informative, one of the two. And I will be seeing you guys in a few days with loot from 1000 Deranged Archaeologists, following by a Blue Dragon loot video as well. With all that being said, thank you guys so much, and until next time, Mr. No Sleep out.